Welcome, students. Todd Isherwood here from the great state of Maine. I hope you all had a great Labor Day weekend. My wife and I spent it in a cabin here in Maine, as you can tell. And it wouldn't be a cabin if it didn't have puzzles and games. So remember my analogy that I used in my last video about how a project is like a 1,000-piece puzzle? Yes, we have many puzzles here. This week you're going to be learning about the methods to developing a project budget, which includes the times and the costs, and also developing a project schedule. These are the substances of chapters 5 and 6. Every project has a cost or a budget associated with it. You as the project manager need to determine and know what that cost is or to develop one. There are two ways to get a budget, either top-down or bottom-up estimating, and you'll learn about that this week. Top-down is when you are given a project budget, both the time and the cost, usually from the C-suite or the executive or somebody outside the project, and then they ask you to go ahead and figure out how to get it done in that time with that budget. That is top-down, usually at the top of the flag, and it's run down to you. Bottom-up estimating is when you need to build the project budget, both the time and the cost. And what this means is that you need to gather that type of information. You need to rely on other project members, vendors, or other experts who have the component costs for the project, usually in time and labor and materials for the project budget. If done right, then everybody on the project can expect a big payday. So usually a bottom-up is when you build it and then you run it back up the flagpole to the C-suite or the executive or whoever is the owner of the project. There are advantages and there are disadvantages to both, and you'll learn about both of those too as well. Next, you're going to need to learn how to develop the project schedule. This is where you have to use your brain. Yes, your cranium. You need to be able to look at the project as a whole and then break it down into smaller work packages and put it all together. We call this the work breakdown structure. You need to determine the project network, like who is doing what, who has the expertise that you need in each one of those work packages, and connect them together and link them to the work breakdown structure. This requires you to be the mastermind of your project. Yes. Once you've determined all the work packages, then you need to put them in order from beginning to end, sort of strung out. Some work packages in that series can start at the same time and stop at the same time. They run in parallel. Some can start at the same time, but they don't necessarily need to stop at the same time. And then there are some packages that can't start until another one has finished. And so it's up to you to sort of figure out the work breakdown structure, and then as you have figured it out, determine one very important term you'll learn, which is the critical path. These are the series of work packages, when strung together and completed on time, makes the overall project be completed on time. Finally, you'll learn about Slack. It can be your friend if you use it correctly. You need to learn why it's important, because if you don't, you'll be sorry. So let's get cracking. Your assignments are on Blackboard. The lecture video and the PowerPoint, you can view those online. Reads chapter 5 and 6. Remember to participate on the online discussion board at least 3 times this week. You have 2 work assignments. Please turn those in on time. And you'll have an online quiz that's timed that needs to be done before the end of this week. So there's no journal entry this week, so you'll get a pass on that. Finally, our first live class will be Saturday, 24th, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. Hopefully by now you all have participated in the discussion board and you all know each other and know a little bit more about me. But feel free to participate a little bit more about who you are and why you like this class or why you chose this class. I'm looking